Hi everyone, Catherine. Going to read you a story called The Artist Tales from the Hidden Valley by Carlos Porta and published by Flying Eye Books. Beautiful, kind of fall colors. Hidden far away between tall mountains, there lies a secret valley. You could pass it 100 times and still not see it unless you knew just where to look. Sarah stood at the top of the mountain and looked down at the valley below. The air was changing and the birds were flying south to warmer places. It's the birds. The leaves were turning different colors and saying goodbye to the trees. The wind was tumbling and leaping like a wild horse that could not be tamed. That's a great description. After the lazy days of summer, it was time for a change. As the wind played with her hair, Sarah had a curious idea. What if all the leaves are flying to the same place? Down in the deepest part of the forest, Tiki was getting ready to leave his nest. He was waiting for his best friend, Eula. She had promised to come and say goodbye, but she was always late. To pass the time, Tiki started to make up a song. He was going to call it Summer. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Eula still hadn't left home. It wasn't that she meant to make people wait. Nice little house. It was just that she liked to paint, and she took her painting very seriously. When she painted, time seemed to pass ever so fast. Today, as Eula looked at her white paper, she felt very empty. Outside, the birds were leaving the valley, and soon her best friend Tiki would be too. With a few brush strokes of blue here and there, she painted Tiki. Oh, come back soon, Tiki. Suddenly, a huge gust of wind flew through the window. Oh, I'm very, very late, exclaimed Eula as she ran out of the door, past her grandmother's. Here it says, careful of the giant wave. They tried to warn her, but the wind stole her painting. Oh no. Look, it's going down here. Oh, and look here. Looks like the frog saved it. The painting landed in a dark, cold part of the forest where nobody ever went. And by the time Eula reached it, it was a soggy, muddy mess. How could she give Tiki his goodbye present now? Tiki was still waiting. The longer he waited, with no sign of Eula, the worse his mood became. At this rate, night would fall while he was still halfway through his journey, and Tiki didn't like flying in the dark. Besides, there is nothing worse than having to wait to say goodbye. He closed his eyes and listened to the strange sounds of a drum echoing in the wind. Oh boy, it's Tiki. He's waiting. This is a strange place, Eula thought. See, she's in the dark woods. It smelled of moss, and she could almost hear a faint drumming sound from far away. Opening her eyes, she saw the strangest sight. A curious little creature as delicate as a ballerina was repainting Eula's gift. Look at this. All the trees and rocks around it were suddenly splattered with colors. Huh. Wow, look at this. Colors everywhere. Eula's painting was now covered in hundreds of dots. They looked a bit like leaves flying in the wind or the flocks of birds that filled the sky. Tikki! Eula remembered. She had to say goodbye before it was too late. Just then, from the depths of the woods came a powerful gust of cold air, as if somebody had just opened an enormous door. The wind was so strong that it carried Eula off into the darkness. Oh my. Then look over here. Hello, my name is Yellow. Are you going south? Can we go together? Sang to Tikki. Tikki could wait no longer. This is very late, even for Eula, thought Tikki. She must have forgotten. So they're flying off. It was time for him to leave. Come on, Yellow, he said gloomily. The South is waiting. Oh, now what? Making her way through the forest, Sarah stopped for a moment to watch two birds flying further and further into the distance. Tikki and Yellow. The leaves were now blowing in from every corner of the valley. She was sure that they were all going to the same place. Curious, she followed the wind to the merry beat of her drum. Ah, Sarah's playing the drum. Oh no! What if Eula is in danger? Up in the sky, Tikki thought of Eula as he and Yellow flew against the strong wind. They had to go back. Where could she be? Eula's house was empty. Fortunately, her grandmothers had seen her. She went down there, but watch out for the giant wave and the big gust and also the twister. See, they're telling. What strange things her grandmothers say, thought Tikki. But what matters is that we've got a good clue. Rushing down the slope, they bumped into Sarah. Are you following the leaves too? Asked Sarah, surprised. No, we're looking for Eula, answered Tikki. Hey, there's Sarah. There's Tikki and Yellow. Sarah didn't know who Eula was, but the birds seemed very worried about her. She decided to help them. The mysterious leaves could wait. It's always better when other people are more people helping. Oh, look what they came to. When they reached the bottom of the slope, they found a spot with all sorts of colors splattered about. How strange. Look at this. It says Tikki on it. And a little further on, Tikki came across a picture that had his name on it. Had Eula painted this? Before he could pick it up, the little ballerina appeared suddenly, covering their faces with colors before twirling away into the trees. Here's the ballerina. Hey, is that Eula's painting? Called Tikki, as the three followed in pursuit. See, they're following the ballerina. Distracted by all the colors, they didn't see the little ballerina hiding herself away. They suddenly felt a great gust of air, and a shadow fell over them as a giant wave of leaves swallowed them up. Get this. Tiki! Eula! Inside the pile of leaves, it was very dark, but two familiar voices could be heard somewhere within. Look at all the leaves. They began to move towards each other as the cold air started to blow again with a frightening roar. Wow! Look at this. Here's Sarah. Here's Tiki. Here's Yellow. Oh, I think this is Eula. I don't see the ballerina. Oh, the ballerina went to the hiding place. And they're laughing. Ha! Once they recovered from their surprise, they couldn't stop laughing. Tiki! What a joyful goodbye for Tiki. Sarah, Yellow, Eula, and so many new friends had been made. Tiki decided to compose a song to remember this very special day. He would call it Autumn. See Tiki and Eula hugging there. At last, Tiki and Yellow were flying off towards the south. They would be back in the spring, but now Eula didn't feel quite so lonely. Sarah. She was ready for the cold weather to arrive and for many more adventures with Sarah in the secret valley. Hi, Onion Head. It's a ballerina. Come and paint. The end. You know what the most important idea I got from the book, even though the colors were magnificent and it was beautiful, was that when Tiki and Yellow left, even though Tiki knew that Eula was always late, Tiki had to come back to make sure that Eula was safe. This is a beautiful story with beautiful pictures, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be reading to you again soon. Thanks.